Welcome to the episode 2 of Letters from My Career Buddy. And today we are welcoming Raafee, who is the head of data from one of the Australia's leading insurance companies. He's data and operations, by the way. And we've invited Raafee today because we have lots of clients who are in the data space. I'm sure they're all excited to listen to you, Raafee. And we do support professionals who are graduates, mid-career, and those climbing towards the leadership. So welcome, Raafee, on the show. How excited are you today to be part of this?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Really excited. I hope that it adds value to some of the people who are in my shoes when I was once. So I think that, maybe hopefully people can relate to my situation and how I actually am where I am today. So happy to have a conversation.
Lovely. Very excited to get started. So how did all of this start, Raafee? How did you get into data?
Well, most of the people, so I originally come from India. I started my engineering career from there. I went to a uni where you don't really have any sort of let's say, on-campus recruitment activities happening. So my state was a very, very confusing state at that point in time. So I had to really figure things out on my own. So I started my career working on a project, really, a small project as part of my internship during my engineering. And that was my first experience actually going into the real world. It was a time when technology really was picking up. That's a long time ago, but I think my career just started with a very by accident. I really didn't plan any of it. Let's say I just figured of the things as they came to me. It was not a set plan. I did my engineering in electronics and communication, but as you know, today I'm in a data space, which is entirely different to what my course was about. Back at that time, it was really, really hard to get into a workspace, or in your field. So you just have to kind of figure it out.
Lovely. And that shapes some of the stories that you really didn't start in data, but you did transform in that. And looking back, Raafee, what's one thing that you think you did, you would have done right early on, or you got it right at, you'd realize that small things that really didn't matter?
I think, as with any career or any journey, I suppose the first thing that I think is most important is that you need to believe in yourself, and you need to be courageous. So as long as you have two things, maybe you are on the right place or right position to begin with. And to me, I think that the first step is a very, very important step to take. It's going to generally decide where you're headed towards at the end. So for me, I think courage and having confidence on yourself are very critical factors to go where you want to be. So I think, to any graduate who's listening, I suppose those two things are something that are absolutely in your control. And as long as you have them, then the other things should be able to figure out themselves, provided you go in the right direction.
Thank you. That's a great piece of advice for our audience. Definitely courage, resilience is some of the great assets that you can build from. And as you've climbed up into the leadership role, looking back, what do you see separates someone who has stayed as an analyst or an individual contributor for 10 years, or someone who becomes or moves into a leadership role within 5?
Well, I think it depends again. I suppose the journey that you're on. So if I have to think about and look at any professional's career, it just starts with maybe a uni or college degree, and they will then get some work experience and hopefully land up in one of the corporate environments or a startup or something like that, and then they will launch their career from there. And there's a lot of questions and confusion at that point in time in people's mind. But then once you head into your mid-career, when you probably have about 3, 4, 5 years of experience, you're going into your mid-career level, maybe you're a senior engineer, a data analyst, or something like that. That's when I think the real game begins. And it depends upon which country you are in. I suppose I've had the pleasure of working in multiple countries. Every country is a little bit different. However, the basics remain the same. And honestly, when I started my career, or when I was in my mid-careers, there's always a tendency that you get stuck and you don't really progress ahead. So that's no different in my case as well. So there was a point in time in my career wherein I got stuck into a place where I was doing well, I was enjoying myself, I had some personal stuff going on in my life as well, got married and stuff like that, had a kid, so a lot was going on in my own life, and as a result of that, what happens is that you have this tendency to get comfortable in whatever role you're working in, I was stuck in that role for about good 5 to 6 years of my life, and when I actually look back, I probably would have done some things very, very differently. And I'm talking about Australia in particular here. I think that having worked, started my career back in India, it's a very different way people perceive career progression in India versus how people actually progress within Australian jobs. So I think for me, I think it's the most critical thing for not getting stuck is being aware. You just have to be really conscious of the fact of what's happening around you, and being observant of what matters most. A lot of times there will always be work. Sometimes the techies, as we call a generic term across the technology space, whether they're in data or somewhere else. But I think there is a tendency that you get very comfortable with technology stuff. You're doing tech stuff, which is not bad, by the way. But I think that if at all, your ambition is to move into leadership, then you really need to learn different skills. And I think it's not a straight, simple answer to it. But I suppose it's a collection of a lot of actions that you have to do in order to get that visibility and in order to then move ahead in life. And once again, if I have to look at my career, I think that the first thing is that you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So if you are not, that's where I think most of the professionals get stuck.
Absolutely. That's exactly what comes back to the point of recruitment as well, that if you are self-aware and if you know that you're not stuck for a few years in the same role and you can see you're constantly learning, you're progressing. And if you are comfortable and you're staying and doing the same thing over and over, that means you're not progressing. Which moves back to the question, Raafee, that what moved the needle for you most? Was that the technical skills or your communication or visibility?
Well, let me just break it down. I think there are a couple of things. One is the technical aspect of stuff, which I think is learnable. These are skills that you could actually, if you're good at, let's say, for example, my background is from engineering. If you're good at engineering, you generally pick up stuff like building stuff quite quickly, and learning technical skills is the easier part, in my opinion. I think what matters is how do you actually pick on the let's say soft skills part of it, and how do you see there's any work or any project or any deliverable that you are working on has three aspects to it. One is the technical aspect. It's pure technology. Okay, what technical tools you're using, what sort of programming language you're using, and etc. That's just the easier part. I think the next part, which is most critical, and I think that if any professional listening today who is from a technical background, the most important thing that actually gives you an edge as a professional is the domain knowledge. So understanding, based on the context, obviously, depending upon which place you're working in or which field you want to be in, I think understanding how that field works. Let's say, for example, if you're in a financial institution, it may be a bank, it may be an insurance company. So understanding how insurance works or how banking works, what are the different terms and terminologies being used across the board is very critical. If you are purely working on a technical part, hey, there is a module, this is to be done, this is the outcome, here's a spec, and people go ahead and build it, that's the easy part. So that's where I would say most people or most professionals get stuck. But if you want to give yourself an edge and be able to express yourself and be able to connect technology with domain solutions, the best domain solutions, then I think domain knowledge becomes absolutely critical. And it's almost like speaking the language of the business. So when you're actually having a conversation with, let's say, somebody in the business who's actually sponsoring that change that you're working on, if you are able to understand their language, what they're talking about, and why does it matter, why we're building what we're building, is going to be critical in actually giving you that visibility. Otherwise, it will be just a bunch of technical terms that doesn't mean much to them. It might mean a lot to you and you understand it really well. But remember, you're not building generally stuff for a technical audience. You're actually building it for some business outcome at the end of the day. So having that domain knowledge is very, very important.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Raafee. So for all our listeners out there, going back to Raafee's point, communication and converting that into the business stories is important. That goes back to my point always. Storytelling and keeping on top of the industry updates, and also having a good domain knowledge of the area that you want to go in is a key to success. Moving to that, tell us about some mistakes you've made up climbing that you see junior people or the professionals who are early in their career should not repeat.
Well, some of the mistakes, I think, again, I would go back to the point that looking at everything in terms of a technical skill, probably I would avoid that. So say, for example, you're interested in a role at this nice company, and you want to apply for it and you want to actually go and get interviewed about it. I think what I've seen generally, the mistakes that people make, they just probably don't prepare enough before they head into an interview. And this generally happens mostly to experienced professionals. Experienced professionals have this tendency, hey, we know it all, so it's going to be easy. I know the subject. I know, what's exactly going to be ours. I'm really good at technical aspects of the stuff. And what in hindsight happens, they tend to not understand the role, and they have misconceptions about the role. And one of the questions that I generally ask people who I interview is, okay, tell me, what did you understand about this role? Describe a day for this particular, if I hire you, what's going to be that you're going to be doing every day? What do you think about it? And that's when generally I have really seen people actually giving a satisfying answer to it, and that actually shows you then the awareness about that role. And generally, I've hired people who have actually done that homework, who have an understanding of what they are getting into, and they're able to demonstrate that why they are the right person for that particular role.
Lovely. Thank you so much for insights into your story, Raafee. And now we will move on to the most exciting part of our section, which is the insider view on hiring. So I believe you do hire people in your team in the current role and in the past.
Yep.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about what do you see in the teams today? What actually gets the resume shortlisted?
Oh, today in today's world, it's a very, very different world that we live in together today. I think for me, let's say as a hiring manager, generally you deal with a recruitment team who is in your organization, and different organizations do it differently. But what I've seen is that a lot of times, let's say, the recruitment team maybe has an understanding of the role at a high level, but they obviously sometimes miss out small details about it. And what happens is that the pressure is a lot. I will give you a recent example. I was recruiting for senior role in my team, wherein I think there were about 300 or 400 applications on that particular role, and I can understand from a recruiter's perspective, it's really hard to actually shortlist people. So I think that resume alone is not going to do much unless and until you actually highlight some things in it that actually give you an edge. And what I would suggest probably, if you don't have a mentor, get one. And I think that in today's world, organizations like My Career Buddy are gold, in my opinion. I think when I was growing up and I was actually trying to navigate my career path, we didn't have any such options. It was really me on my own having to figure out stuff. I think that people today have a lot of options. There's a lot of information that you can get online, but at the same time, I think that having a mentor who has seen it, an industry insider who has seen it, makes a huge difference. And I think that people, there are different types of people. I suppose being an introvert is okay, it's all absolutely fine. But having said that, if you want to get ahead of the crowd, you need to come out of that comfort zone and express yourself, connect with people. Generally, let's say if I'm on LinkedIn, and if I'm recruiting for a role, and there's a lot of people who reach out to me, and a lot of times I don't actually pay attention. But if I'm recruiting for a role and I see someone reaching out to me and they have a compelling case, I would personally pay attention to it. Even if I don't reply to them, I would actually at least have a look and see what they have to offer. And I think that the connection is very important. Sometimes we get this feeling, hey, is it okay if I reached out to someone, message someone, or let's say try to contact someone? I will be probably looking like a desperate person. But I don't think that's the way people look at it. I generally don't look at it, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of my peer leaders in the industry don't see it that way. So I think it's absolutely fine, guys. If you want to go ahead and reach out. There's no harm. The worst thing that could happen is maybe you would not get a response. But having taken that first step is probably one thing that can push you over the edge, and you might be the one of those 300 resumes that get picked up and go to a conversational stage where you have a real chance at it.
That is a great point. Absolutely. Networking plays a very key role these days in the market to get visibility, and especially maximum people would not reply, but when they reply, you do have a point, you do have a chance. And a very, very honest answer, Raafee, we need from you, and this is the key highlight of this podcast. No local experience or international background. Actually, does that count against someone in your experience, and what matters the most?
Honestly, in Australia, yeah, you'll often hear this no local experience, and I think that it's a misunderstood term from my perspective. And different leaders may reach or approach this in different way. But I personally don't know a leader who actually thinks having some local experience as such in our line of work is critical for me to make a decision. I don't think so, and I don't agree with that. But I think what I would really prefer is a term, maybe the better term for this is understanding of the local market. It's important. I think that different places, as I said, I've worked in many countries. Different countries have different ways of working and interacting and hiring, and all of that works within that atmosphere. So again, it comes back to the point that you've got to be aware of your surroundings. If you are in Australia, you got to tailor your approach for a job as per the Australian market. And that doesn't mean that you have to have had worked in Australia. It's about understanding of how people work in Australia, and what is more important than the other aspects of it. And like in Australia, it does not matter from which uni you come. I have hardly seen people actually looking at it, this guy is from that uni or this uni. Maybe it matters for some senior roles at some stage. It is some factor wherein you'll say, hey, he's got from a good uni, and maybe it just gives you a bit of a, if people know that uni, by the way. If they don't know, then they don't really care. But let's say if they know about it, they will probably give you a bit more, let's say, attention. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Don't expect that having come from a great uni is going to get you any rewards. So education, very important, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter in Australian market as long as you are really able to express why you are the right person for that role.
Absolutely. So we can move beyond no local experience, international background, and work towards translating our experience into the Australian style to make sure that it is meaningful for the hiring managers. And what are the biggest red flags that you've seen when the candidates look great on the resume, but they don't get the job?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think in today's world, it has become more and more common now, to the point that we now have to really a lot of times don't even advertise the roles, and we hire through our network rather than actually advertising it on a platform. And the reason for that being is that there's a lot of AI stuff happening in there. I've seen resumes coming to perfect resumes, which are actually being tailored to the role. But then when we have a conversation and we just ask a couple of questions, there it is. So you see that person doesn't actually have that experience, and it's a waste of my time, and it's a waste of their time as well. So I think save yourself time. It's not going to work. You got to really pay attention to the role. If you're not ready for that role, that's probably not the right role for you. So I think one thing that I would really caution against is relying too much on AI without actually understanding. Sometimes people think that they'll apply to 1,000 jobs and one of the jobs is going to hit, but generally you're going to become a part of the trash. So it's just, that's how people work these days. So if you really want visibility, if you really want to give yourself a chance, I think that maybe people like My Career Buddy or other mentors around you, if you know anybody in the industry, build those connections. If you don't know how to build connections, find organizations that are going to help you with that journey. And I suppose that probably will give you a better result or an outcome rather than just bombarding jobs with your resume everywhere. It just becomes irrelevant.
Absolutely. So we do suggest 20% applications and 80% networking. That's what gets you there into the visibility channel and get you your first job. Now, if you were graduating today, Raafee, starting from zero in Australia, what would you do in your first 90 days?
Yeah. Well, I think it's in the Australian market, I think that I would not probably wait for the last 90 days. I would probably think about exploring and understanding the market or the Australian ways of working way ahead of time and give myself a better chance. I would probably come out of the comfort zone, try to build relationships, try to connect with industry leaders or people, even if they are in their mid-careers. Just try and connect, build those connections. If you see someone who's already working in the industry and you happen to know them, build the connection. Do not shy away from having a conversation with them. They might not have a role for you, but they would probably give you some insights that really you can't get on Google or through AI or on let's say in a book. Not everything is there out on books or stuff like that. So building connections is, in my view, very, very important to give you that visibility and chance. And let me just give you a kind of a my own personal experience there. So recently, in my recent role, I've hired a lot of people, and I would say 100% of the roles that I've hired, most of them turned out to be a referral. So which means if you had a connection with someone who's already working in the organization, your chances of getting that role, or at least having a chance to have a conversation about it, are really high. So generally, all organizations have a policy that they need to interview referrals. But having said that, make sure that you are relevant to that role. Otherwise, probably you're not going to help yourself and maybe your contact as well in terms of their reputation. Because when someone refers you to a role, they're actually backing your skills, and that gives the hiring manager a bit of a comfort that, okay, the person knows how we work in the organization, and at least that part of the thing is already communicated to the candidate. And then it's just about, it gives you maybe a 20% edge already over other candidates.
Absolutely. And just to add on top as well, there has to be genuine referrals, genuine connections, and genuine skills that you do get connected to the role, and you are confident that you can do the job well, and at least appear for an interview if you're getting shortlisted in that. Thank you so much for that. And what skills or habits you tell every graduate or a recent graduate, regardless of which part of data field they want to go into?
I think it depends upon. Data is the right place to be in. So I would really think that, and you know that AI is replacing quite a lot of. It's a genuine thing that a lot of technological specific roles probably are going to be replaced by AI in the next few years. But having said that, I think data is gold. Data is the place for at least the next decade. I don't see this area slowing down. It's going to be, if at all, growing more and more. And I'm pretty sure that in the AI space now, with tools that have come into the technology space, you have more and more chances of building your rapport in this particular field, and there would be probably new roles coming up that we don't even know about yet. But for me, two things are important. Regardless of whether you're in data or in any other role, I think You might be really good at how, let's say what, in terms of the skills. You might know it all, but in order to deliver an outcome in a technology organization, or any organization for that matter, in Australia, what matters most is how you do it. And when I say how, that actually leans into your soft skills, how you interact with people, how you actually work in a team, how do you actually conduct yourself, how do you actually contribute towards a project that you're working on. And this is the real edge that you will have over other people if you know how to conduct yourself. So being conscious about yourself. All human beings have highs and lows, and they have their own style, which we are all diverse, and that's all good. But I think at the end of the day, understanding how to conduct yourself is very, very important. So you have to really pay attention to the how part of it. Sometimes, let's say, you will see people, they might be working really, really hard. They might be putting in a lot of hours, but if their attitude is not really good, you don't want to work with such people, even if they are really good at the tech stuff part of it, or the skill or the craft part of it. So conducting yourself, building those connections, being approachable, being a team player, having a positive attitude, all of this is really, really important to grow in an organization, and having that growth mindset. Not pulling the team away from you, not taking credit for something that you've not probably done. Appreciating the people around you. So I think that all of this counts about your personality, your approach, and your attitude. And I think that they are very critical. If I have to decide between two people with the same skills, and I have to make a decision about them, I would probably make a decision based on how they conduct, how they approach themselves, and what is their attitude towards it. So how part is very important.
Thank you so much. And we are almost reaching the tail end of our episode now. So to sum up, few things that Raafee highlighted is, guys, networking, attitude, storytelling, business knowledge, and most importantly, being brave in networking. Reach out to people and reach out to us if you have more questions. You can connect with Raafee directly on LinkedIn if you have questions directly. If you would like to have some more chat around your career progression, you can reach out to My Career Buddy on our website and schedule a free strategy session. Raafee, before we let you go, one last question that we can leave the audience on with is, if someone, what's your final message for someone who's feeling stuck or invisible in their job search right now?
Well, I think just remember, you're not alone. Everyone has been there in the situation that you are at one point in time. I think that a lot of times we leave stuff to luck or destiny, or whatever you want to call it. But I think that world belongs to the people who take action. And action with the right attitude and understanding and awareness of your surroundings is what is going to take you to the next level. And remember, the first step is always the hard one. So have the courage, back yourself, believe in it, and believe in the process. It doesn't matter what you're doing in your life. I think it's important that you need to take that first step, get out of your comfort zone. That's not going to help you. It's never going to let you grow. So growth happens where discomfort begins, in my opinion. So be courageous, believe in yourself. Remember, you're not alone. There's a lot of people like you there.
And that concludes our episode with this amazing thought that Raafee mentioned, that growth happens with where you start feeling uncomfortable. You start feeling discomfort. And this is Nikhat signing off from episode 2 of Letters from My Career Buddy.
Thank you.